Yes, I have a group so where I'm practicing English every day. So some English speakers also say I'm not good at learning. They are thinking that my English is not good and I'm unable to speak. I'm unable to share my voice message. So is this just a questions of attitudes or where some people's born lacking the ability to learn a new language? I think it is a attitude of them.
I think I think it's both.
So.
Yeah, because sometimes I've had students they just couldn't do it for some reason. They just had a tough time learning, and but then I also had some. They had a very difficult time to learn Chinese, and then I sat down with them one on one, and I encouraged them. Hey, the basics of Chinese is not really that difficult, and so I just spent some extra time with them, and suddenly it's like, you know, what do you call it in English, Ron? Light went off or
The light went on.
went on, and suddenly they got it, and then they say, "Hey, I can do it," and then they were so excited, and suddenly they turned into very good language students.
Oh,
It's a psychological thing sometimes too. People are afraid or shy to make afraid to make mistakes, and I always tell my students, you have to make mistakes. Don't be quiet because you are afraid you will make a mistake. You only learn by making mistakes. It's
okay.
we have a saying.
So you are teaching English means in China.
I taught English in China too. Yeah.
Okay. So you are teaching to students English or you are doing any means your professionals work in China.
I did English teaching, and I did what you call humanitarian aid.
Mm-hmm.
There was I ran into an American doctor who worked with the Red Cross over there,
Red Cross, yes.
and he was asked by the local government to hold village doctor training programs.
Mm-hmm.
Every village had a what they call a barefoot doctor, and with very little education. But so he started doing uh, village doctor training programs, and then the government asked him to do also village teacher training programs, and that's when he
Okay.
invited me to join.
Okay.
And
So
and so that's
now you are also teaching English to students in online, Chinese students in online.
yeah, I just started with one again from Yunnan province, and so many parents are eager for their children to have that exposure. So over WeChat we have English lessons.
Okay. So I
WeChat
think
is
I think you are living in America now, and you leave the Chinese before after the COVID-19, I think, or before the COVID-19. You leave the China
yeah, yeah. I left China in 2007.
2007.
I
Oh,
went back
yeah,
once, but
yeah, yeah.
not since.
It's been a long
So
time. Yeah.
2011 was the last time I was there, and I've been trying to get back, but now it's so difficult. You can't even get in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ron, to speak a well language, is it important to know about the idioms of the language?
Idioms are a very special part of the language, and it's also a little bit dangerous for language learners.
Mhm.
You can make a lot of mistakes with idioms and say something that you did not intend to say. So I found this both in German and in French that using idioms is very tricky. That's why you need to live in the country where the language is spoken, because your friends, like if you were to come to America, you would hear idioms used by your American friends in the right context. And that's really important. I encourage language learners or English learners to stay away from idioms, in the beginning, because you can get into a lot of trouble.
Oh, yes.
especially saying something you really didn't want to say, but because you didn't understand how the idiom should be used, you use it in the wrong way, and then it can be very embarrassing. So I think, if you want to look at idioms, you can, there are lots of places to find English idioms online,
Yes.
but I would be very careful about using them, because, anyway.
I think it's
Yes.
important to also ask, did I use it the correct way? Or,
Yes.
always ask questions. That's because it's even with single words, you will get into embarrassing situations. Right?
Yes.
Like I talked to a Chinese friend. We were trying to organize a soccer game, like us foreigners against a his work unit. And then he said, I was talking to him on the phone. He said, "Well, let me talk to my inmates first, uh, and to organize it." And I said, "Where are you now? Inmates is a prison, right?"
Yes.
What he meant to say colleagues, and
Yes. Yes.
so
That's a good example.
Yeah.
you will always lose face somehow, um, but ask people always. Tell me if I make a mistake. Correct me.
Yep.
Most people won't correct you, and they say, "Oh, your English is good enough. I know what you mean. You made a
Yeah.
mistake, but I'm not going to tell you." And that's so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to learn the correct way of using words. And in French, the word mattress and sailor sound very, very similar.
Yes.
And one time, a friend of mine she was also an English speaker, but she spoke very good French. But in the early years, she said she had told her friends that she just bought a new bed, and all she needed for her bed was a sailor.
Yeah. I
But
think.
she wanted to use the word for mattress, and because they're very similar, and to a non-native speaker, it's easy to make that mistake.
Yes.
And so after everybody had a good laugh, they did correct her, but
Yeah, and she will never make that mistake again.
never. Well, now she's lived there for all her life, so she speaks very well. But we all make those mistakes, and like you said, Eckhart, if people need to know that they have the freedom to correct you. And
Right.
so, Lila, you're just going to have to come and camp out in the United States for a while, and that will accelerate your language learning.
Okay, sure. I have a plan to visit America, and I think it will take time, but I'm not sure nowadays. Now I can visit to your countries because I have to do more works here in my country, and I have to earn money also to visit America. So
Yes.
one of our means relatives, he has visited to America. I think he's now in also America. I have contact with him, and he also tell me he would like to talk with me, and we will make a conversation together for my YouTube channels. Now he's studying in America. I don't know where he's studying, but now he's studying. He has posted many photo of him on Facebook.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
When you just said when I can visit to your country, you just say no to. You just say when I can visit your country.
Oh yes, when I can visit your country. Yeah.
Yes, not to your country, but just visit your country. No,
Okay.
we were just talking about correcting, right? If
Yes.
there's a mistake,
Yes, that is
and that's I always, because I made, even when I came to America, I used the wrong pronunciation. I remember I would say, "Oh, my ancestors are from Germany," instead of ancestors,
Yeah.
ancestors.
And I think I used that same phrase for like, I don't know, a few months. And then I found out it's ancestors, not ancestors, And I thought, dang, why didn't anyone tell me that before?
Yes. Yes, even in America also there is the people speaking in the separate accent. Means your accent is also different in America, the South America, like I don't know.
Yeah.
I was talking with someone. He shared something like this. So is it true? Oh,
I definitely have an accent. And sometimes I just say, "How are you?" or "How are you?" or whatever, and they say, "Oh, are you from Germany?" And I say, "Why are you asking?" No, because of your accent. And then I always say, I ain't got no accent no more. You know, like, what are you talking about? But yeah, I don't know. I try to get rid of it, but um, I remember back then one lady said, "Oh no, don't get rid of your accent. Just keep the charming part of it."
Ah, yes.
And I said, "Well, which is what? Like, if I talk like a German with a strong, thick German accent, that's not very charming. Like, this is a real problem, you know." Like,
Yeah.
so,
That's good.
but yeah, I gave up on getting rid of my accent. I hope I don't have a thick accent.
No.
So
Well, people in America that, a lot of Americans are monolingual. I mean, they only speak English and don't get exposed to foreign language. So if somebody shows up who speaks English with an accent, that can be pretty, that's like kind of exciting, I mean,
yeah,
I live in
uh,
Iowa in the cornfields and somebody
oh,
shows up
nice.
that has an accent. Wow, this is like so exciting.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Okay.
Oh,
So I should
Ron,
learn.
you
I
have
should learn more things. I think to speak like you, to speak like both of you. You both are speaking really good English because it is your mother tongue. It's not my mother tongue, but I'm 100% sure one day I can speak like you.
well, yeah, I think it's possible. It's just, you need to get to a country that speaks English. And if you want to speak like an American, you need to come here
Yes.
and
Yes.
spend some time. And it's funny how, in the English speaking world, the language and the accent change a lot depending on the country that you go to. And even if you go to Canada, which is right next door to the United States, the Canadians do not talk like Americans. They have their own accent. Even some of their words are different. And so if you go to England or Scotland or Australia, they speak a very different English than
Yes.
in
Yes.
America.
Yes. You're right. Yes, I have also watched many content on YouTube. The similar content like the Australian English, the American English, the British English. There is the far difference.
yeah,
That
Ron.
could even be hard for native English speakers. I visited England, and one time we were in the East End of London, and I couldn't understand anything.
Oh,
I was like,
sorry.
"What language are you learning and are speaking?" So,
I know they swallow all the T's and the THs, and I
yeah.
did a medical course there for a couple of months, and I still remember, the family I stayed with. She said, "Oh, I got a letter from my daughter. I got a letter from my daughter," and I said, "No T's, you know."
Yeah.
And then I thought of the word where she had to say the T or TH. I said, "Okay, say Anthony, Anthony," and she just said, Anthony.
And
Yeah.
Anthony,
yeah,
no TH.
yes,
So it's very funny, I think.
Well, if you grow up speaking the language in a certain way, I mean, you don't even hear it because it's your native tongue. And yeah. And
Yeah.
one of my friends, when I was working in France, one of my colleagues was from Britain, from a small town in England, and it took me quite a while to get used to how she said things. Um,
Mhm.
so she kind of thought I was making fun of her, when I kept asking her to repeat herself because I just couldn't get it. And but eventually my ears adjusted to her accent. But yeah, it can be very different. Or if you go up to Scotland, wow, yeah, they have, well, if you're with people that have been to university, they'll speak a clean language. But if you go out onto the street, wow, got to
Yeah.
listen hard.
They almost sound like German speaking English, and I have an
Yeah.
American friend.
Yeah. Yeah, and you talked about modifying your, trying to get rid of your accent. Well, Americans love the Scottish accent. I mean, we find it fascinating, and a lot of television shows have a Scottish actor, speaking with that accent, then we find it fun, but yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
So don't get rid of your accent, Lila. Lila?
Okay, Lila. Yes.
Yeah, Lila. That's
Yes.
Lila means purple in German. Interesting.
Uh, I think assumptions. Lila means assumptions. There is a word assumptions.
Uh-huh.
Say it again. Lila means what?
Oh my God, I forgotten. I think something like that. Rule of law. Assumptions. There is a word I'm writing. You can check. Assumptions.
Well, Ron, that's pretty amazing. You speak German, you speak French. That is,
Assumptions.
Well,
I'm
I
not
tell
sure.
you, learning the language in the country was such a pleasure. Oh,
it
my
is fun,
gosh.
isn't it?
When I learned, I went to a language school in Stuttgart. It was just foreigners in that. I mean, it was really for getting the language down. And there were people from all different countries. And one of my friends in that class was from Turkey. And when we started, we could not talk to each other because we didn't have enough German to do anything. But every week we learned a little bit more, and we would eat lunch together. And each week we could ask each other some more questions because we were both learning, and we were in the country. By the end of that language school, we could have easily have a decent conversation.
Wow.
But we started from zero, and
Uh-huh.
we had a very gifted language teacher. She was so good. And I only went to language school for 6 months.
Wow.
But because I heard it all the time out on the street, it came very quickly, and I loved it. I loved it, and I also would love to learn other languages. I'm kind of running out of time, but it's hard to describe to somebody who hasn't done it the world that it opens up.
Exactly.
I mean, you see the world in a different place when you learn another language, and
Right.
yeah.
And it's just so much fun too. Um,
Yes, I think
but,
assumptions. The meaning of Lila is assumptions.
yeah, assumptions. Okay. That's an interesting meaning.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it means purple in German.
Yes.
Has anyone told you that lila means purple, the color purple in German?
Yeah, assumptions means purple in color. What is the meaning of assumptions?
No, no, I just meant the meaning of lila in German is the purple color.
Oh, yes, maybe I'm not sure, but yeah, you may
Assumptions.
have heard. I think the maximum people are telling me Lila is a girl name. So, are you
Oh
thinking
yeah.
Lila is only a girl name?
Um.
In the United States, it's commonly used for girls. I have not met a man who has that name. But that doesn't really matter. I mean, it just depends on your country. But in the
No,
United
no.
States,
In my
it's
country also,
usually.
Lila is a girl name. Lila is girl
Oh,
name.
really?
Yes. And my full name is means Lilambara Pradhan. So I made it the
Oh,
nickname.
okay.
I made it the nickname.
Lilambara.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Lilambara Pradhan. You can
Huh.
remember.
Even,
This is
even longer.
yes, very longer. So that's why I made it a nickname, Lila.
Right.
Only my
Ron, do you,
yes, only my means the means subscriber also social media people are only know this name Lila, and my friends don't know. Or if I say them Lila is the name and Lila is my name, they won't understand.
Can you write your full name in the chat window?
Yeah, sure.
Write your whole name, not just Leela, but everything else that you said.
Yeah.
Lilambara something? Hey,
It is.
Ron, would you say that French was the more difficult
This
than
is my
German,
full
or
name. You can see.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Lilambara Pradhan.
Yeah.
yeah, Pardon.
Nilambara Pradhan.
It's a beautiful name.
Yeah.
Yes.
It flows. Nilambara.
Yeah, Nilambara Pradhan. Your pronunciation is good. Perfect. Eckhart. Yeah, Nilambara Pradhan. And
Nice name.
my another
Much more
name is
fashion.
my another name. Only my parents are calling in this name. It means they are calling me Tina. It is my home name.
Oh,
Well, that definitely isn't a girl's name.
Yeah. Yes, and my it means though only my closer friend know this name. It means
Mhm.
Dima.
oh, yeah.
Ah, Nina.
Yes.
Well, if you come to the United States, there are very many people from your country here. A lot of people from India.
Yes, I have
And
seen. I've seen in YouTube or on Insta also. One of
oh,
my,
yeah.
from my side also the peoples are going to America and they are living there and they are also celebrating the our own festivals in your country.
Okay.
Yes, I have seen many blogger and YouTuber also.
So we get to, because of that, there are lots of restaurants with Indian food,
Mhm.
and Indian
Good
food
stuff.
here is very popular.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah, right. I agree. It's
so
very, very good. And many of the people from India in my part of the country are farmers. They're
farmers, yeah,
really big into farming, and yeah, so they're usually very successful.
yes, the huge
And
amount of
smart.
peoples are depending on farms.
Yeah,
So they are cultivating and they are working in the farm areas, and the means those are well educated. So only they are working in the government offices or in private offices, but huge
yeah,
amount of peoples are working in the farm areas.
yeah,
Yes, it
yeah.
is true.
Hey,
Computers is also a big thing. A lot of people from India are very good at working with the computer.
I
Uh,
must say, Lila, your English is really. I know you learned it from small on, but your pronunciation is already very good because I've
Yes,
talked to Indian people and I've had a hard time understanding them
yeah.
oh, really?
because of their accent. But your accent is very good already.
Okay, thank you
So
very much. Thank
yeah,
you very much for your good
Uh-huh.
opinion. I'm trying to speak you. I'm following to you how you are speaking. When you are speaking, also I was listening to you carefully, very carefully. I wasn't skipping any
mhm,
words. How you are speaking and how you are moving your tongue, something like that. I'm very carefully listening to you.
yeah.
Yes,
And the I think when you learn American, um, you know, in Germany we jokingly say Americans talk like they're chewing gum when they speak at the same time.
chewing gum.
And
Yes.
but I think it's very important that you connect all the words. You know, don't talk like a robot, like one word after another. You have to connect all the words. It needs to flow. And when you speak, uh, like a river,
Yeah,
and I don't mean fluently, like in terms of speed, but you just have to connect all the words together much more so instead of like, yeah, this is a real problem. You know that yeah, you don't cut off every word. You know, you just have to connect them somehow.
yes,
It's like a river flowing.
yes,
At
yes,
least that's
Yeah.
my
yeah,
impression.
I think speed is it can be a problem because I've noticed some of the English learners on this meeting that, and it's a temptation. I found that in languages that I've learned, you try and talk too fast. And because there's an accent involved, sometimes native speakers won't understand because you're speaking so fast, and because of your accent, it can make it more difficult to
yes,
understand. So, I when I speak a foreign language, I try and I force myself to speak slower because I think it's easier for people to understand me. But I have noticed that some people speak really fast, and English is not their native language, and it makes it more difficult to understand for me.
Yes,
So
yes. Sometimes it's happen also.
yeah.
Yeah. But I do like to speak means like very slow and very good way. Means in the very proper way. I don't want to learn in proper way. Yeah.
Well, I think I might have mentioned this to you already. If you go on YouTube, there is a channel called TED Talks.
TED Talks.
TED
Yeah,
Talks.
I'm watching that content. TED Talks.
And they, generally speaking, the people that present something on TED Talks, their English is pretty good. It's clean.
Yeah.
They, most of them speak slowly, and it's a good place to train your ears
Yes.
to listen.
To improve our
Very
listening
good.
skills. Yeah.
And the other thing I heard, I mean, I have another sister here in America, my younger sister. Like my older sister is married to Wes,
Yeah.
but my younger sister is here, and everyone says that she doesn't have an accent anymore. And what she did as a teenager is listen to John Denver a lot. She sang along, and that really helped her pronunciation.
Oh, that's great.
Just imitating the songs, singing along, and trying to sing it exactly like John Denver did. And I think that really helped her back then, in younger years, to get rid of her accent. I mean, I'm sure she still has a little bit somewhere, but it's really impressive.
Okay, thank you very much, Ron and Akash, for sharing your knowledge to me because I really got to know English language very well. I want to speak very well, very effectively, like native. So today we will share your knowledge, whatever I ask you. So thank you very much. Maybe we can connect again another in the next meeting.